from Kali Aminra, and we're gonna be talking about aliens, man. Big talk about aliens. Let's get into it.
Sounds like an old science fiction movie, but a study out of Harvard finds that aliens might be living among us.
I'm not sure what kind of Pandora's
Now, it's something I've been saying for a long time, but now they coming out and saying it in the public.
box you opened. But when it comes to this paper, I gotta ask, what do you think about your peers, what they're writing over at Harvard there?
The fascinating part of that to me is that it just went literally out of my head.
Harvard University's Human Flourishing Program speculates UFOs may be spaceships visiting alien friends planted on Earth, planted right here on Earth, that is. Those aliens that are disguised as humans trying to fit in. They were just at the beach, those aliens.
Just saw the beach.
They're living among us.
Yep, they are.
And I guess what got me interested in this is how often these beings are described as looking just like that. We're sort of at the point where we can't just talk about the craft any longer.
Right.
But we also have to acknowledge that there are seemingly an intelligent group of individuals, species that are piloting these things and are ubiquitously described as looking just like us.
You weren't crazy if you saw this in the sky last night. A lot of you called us today. This is our friend Mike Kristen up in Moon Valley, and he got it all on tape last night between 8:30 and 9 o'clock. Take a look. 7 lights, actually hovering really low over the valley, moving towards the south.
And it's important to point out that just as fast as word of these strange lights have spread, explanations have been tossed about, that there were flares, that there were planes flying in formation. But Mark and Robin, we checked with the FAA today, we checked with Sky Harbor, we checked with Luke Air Force Base, and there's been no official explanation of those strange bright lights last night.
I'm told that at least one traffic controller saw the lights. They were reported by at least one commercial airline pilot, but John and Marlene, nothing showed up on radar.
Nothing showed up on radar.
Nothing.
All right, a mystery. Then still, Jim, thank you.
You're welcome.
I was going to say, it sounded like some type of military aircraft.
That's what we
but
were
if it
thinking
doesn't show
until
up
we
on
said
radar,
that.
now you've got me wondering.
May be able to help me in this
Maybe,
feature,
yeah.
who knows? Because this is an international story. Because of you both being here, I looked into the international files, not covered by our Ministry of Defense, but maybe covered by yours. This took place in Arizona. An unidentified pilot, according to the press cuttings, flying near an airport in Arizona with his son when he spotted 6 lights in the night sky. So he called from the aeroplane to air traffic control to say, I'm seeing these lights here. I wasn't expecting any other planes. There are none supposed to be on my landing path. Can you tell me what's going on? They said there are no other planes. He said, I'm seeing 6 bright lights coming towards me. Mystery unresolved.
Except,
Tail number for that plane was Bonanza 2 Tango Sierra, and I was the pilot. No way.
good evening. I'm Mark Bailey.
And I'm Robin Sewell. Thanks for joining us. We start tonight with those strange dots of light that were the talk of the town.
But it is very rare for thousands of people to call and report seeing the same lights in the same spot at the same time. It happened last night, and eyewitnesses who saw it say it's like nothing they've ever seen before.
And these objects were not only seen over Phoenix.
There have been multiple descriptions, but the people up in northern Arizona saw lights that were distinctly red. By the time they'd gotten down to Phoenix, they were white, the color of stars, bluish white, people described.
Have we had some visitors recently? The buzz is very big in the desert Southwest, where it's really never gone away after some weird happenings in the skies over Phoenix recently.
Last night, shortly after 8 p.m., hundreds, maybe thousands of Arizonans reported seeing a triangular-shaped object with 3 distinct lights streaking across the sky at incredible speed.
The first sighting last night came in from Paulden, then Prescott, and then Phoenix, where the objects turned white. The white objects were later seen over Tucson, and the last sightings were from northwest Arizona around Kingman. Some witnesses described the fleet of lights as a V-shaped formation. Some say they were in a line. Others saw a diamond shape, and still others saw a star.
Another observer reported that when one turned, they all turned together, as if by the same command.
Last night I seen something extraordinary.
Tom King has been watching the skies over Phoenix since October of 1995. Last night he saw something he cannot explain. He shot this videotape of 2 bright lights that turned into 3 bright lights that turned into 4 bright lights.
Now, if you just look at the videotape, you might wonder what's so unusual about 3 or 4 bright lights in the sky, what with so many planes coming and going from Sky Harbor Airport. But the people who saw the lights will say the lights were orange, they were bright, and they were big, and they were like nothing they've ever seen before.
At the Phoenix airport, there was nothing unusual on the radar, but controller Bill Grava and his colleagues could see the lights.
They were amber-colored and very bright, and on a scale of 1 to 5, with an airplane light being maybe 2, these are 4.5 at least.
With an Air Force base nearby, many assumed the lights were burning flares suspended from parachutes, but the military says it had only routine fighter flights flying that night and no flares. Some, like Tim and Bobby Lee, claim they saw even more.
Something was there. It was a structure. It was going 35 miles an hour. It was huge. It didn't make a sound. And you tell me what can do that.
And we have checked into it. We called the FAA, Sky Harbor Airport, and Luke Air Force Base for some kind of an explanation as to these strange lights, and so far we have nothing. Paul and Robin.
Phil, you said over the last 10 years there's been a lot of significant sightings across the country. When was the last one here in the Southwest?
Well, according to MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network, about 2 weeks ago, they say there was a series of 4 golden discs or flying saucers that were hovering just above Phoenix. That's the first I've heard of it.
All right, well, we'll be keeping our eyes up on the sky.
A little spooky that they couldn't find it on radar.
The lights traveled close to 200 miles in about 40 minutes. Even a commercial airline pilot here at Sky Harbor Airport reported seeing the lights last night. He radioed the tower just after takeoff, telling them that the object was directly above him. That means that air traffic controllers in the tower should have picked the object up on their radar screens. And yet they say they saw nothing.
I was flying him to go see his girlfriend, and we were on approach, and I saw 6 lights over the airport in absolute uniform in a V shape, and Oliver said to me, I was just looking at him, and I was coming in, we're maybe a half a mile out, and Oliver said, "Pa, what are those lights?" And I then it kind of like came out of my reverie, and I said, "I don't know what they are." I said, he said, "Are we okay here?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna call him," and I reported it. And they said, "We're not painting anything. We don't show anything." I said, "Well, okay, I'm going to declare it's unidentified, it's flying, and it's 6 objects." We landed. I taxied, dropped him off, took off, went back to L.A. Never said a word. He never said a word. I never thought of it. 2 years later, Goldie is watching a television show when I came home. Yeah. And the show is on UFOs. But as I came home, "Hey, honey, how's it going?" Boom, and I'm kind of hearing the TV going, and I stopped and I started watching, and it was on that event. Now, that was the most viewed UFO event. Over 20,000 people saw that. And I'm watching this, and I'm feeling like Richard Dreyfuss in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It's like, why do I know this? You know what? And it's not clear to me. And finally, I said. Then they said the pilot reported it. A general aviation pilot reported it on landing. I'd never thought of it since then, and I said, "That was me. That was me." And I said, "Wait a minute. I'll go to my logbooks." So I went to my logbooks, and there was the flight at that time, and I didn't mention anything about the UFO. The fascinating part of that to me is that it just went literally out of my head. Yeah. And Oliver never mentioned it. And had I not seen that show, I'd have never thought of it again.
Amazing.
And that, to me, was the weird part.
Because the beings that come out of these craft ubiquitously are described as not just human-like, humanoid, but sometimes human, just like us. In fact, Dr. Edgar Mitchell, the 6th man to walk on the moon, started a foundation to study these after a transformational experience he had returning to Earth from space. And they found through this study of experiencers, people who claim to have contact with these beings, that the most commonly interacted with form was human, just like us. So that's where I bring my expertise and background in evolutionary anatomy, craniofacial evolution specifically, and try to see if there could be a relationship. Honestly, taking this seriously, having conversations like this one, and so I very much appreciate that you're willing to open your minds and provide a logical critique to your viewers, because it is something we should all be talking about. And you're right, there has been a shift in the cultural zeitgeist recently where we're starting to feel like it's okay to do that now, where previously, even 4 or 5 years ago, it was a very different situation.
Believe it now, Chris?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm convinced. Unidentified. It's just unidentified. It's flying, and it's an object. It's an object. Yeah.
Right.
Moving towards you at this.
We need to move on.
What an interesting possibility that extraterrestrials know that all this discussion is happening, and they did a show for us. Just a possibility.
Study examines 4 different alien theories, okay? Including
So-
technologically advanced.
They speaking on all of this to tell you what's going on. It's a subconscious warning or a subconscious reprogramming. So they basically giving it to you, presenting it to you on ways that your subconscious will accept it, so you will not be consciously overly shocked when things start to happen. It's going to start picking up more and more and more and more and more. And then it's going to be talked about more and more and more and more. And then you're going to start to actually experience it more and more and more and more. The question that you have to ask yourself is, what is the narrative they're going to paint about these visitors? That's going to be part of the key.
To ancient human civilization, plus ETs from the future. The study says aliens could either live among us, underground, or inside the moon.
Inside?
Uh-huh.
They literally telling you what's up. They literally saying they among us and they in the moon, which is something we've all known for the longest. Like, man, you got Dr. Delbert Blair, Brother Panic, man, there's been so many people, talking about this for the longest, for years. So it's not shock. Even the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was talking about it. Noble Drew Ali. It's so many people who done talked about this before, but yeah, just get ready for it. Let's see what else they talking.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with that.
Wow.
All I gotta say, my people, universal law, they either live among us in human form, underground, or in the moon. I told you.
Man, hey, among us, on the moon, or underground. That's it. So you got they already telling you which ones is which. They say the little grays is among us in a lot of the homeless population. They say the reptilians, so-called, and the insectilians are below us in the caves and the caverns underneath the earth because they can't deal with the sun. And you have another base of those that are in the moon. So let's see how this year forms.
And all 3 of them are connected, and the sun is exposing it all. Universal law. When you understand universal law, you understand that there is no lie here. It's only what you tell yourself. Your lies become your truth. But there is no lie there. You choose to accept the lie. Remember that. Abundance and gratitude to you all. Who is these people? It's coming out, my people. This shit is crazy. I'm just stuck. I'm lost for words. I'm lost for words. That they literally are stating this on the news. That's how I know that this is going to be an impactful year on all of us. It's going to be a game changer. Abundance and gratitude to you all.
Facts of life. All right, y'all like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what y'all think, and I will catch y'all on the next one.